jamming now. We'll start here. And see what happens. Let me just pull a couple things up for the stream manager real quick. Ideally, okay, so excuse me. Today, what I would like to do is actually go through and start refining a little bit what's going on with this gentleman. Hey, Gregersman, good morning. How are you today? I know I took the model off his nice base a little soon, but I would like to tidy him up a bit. Gregersman's not doing bad. Oh, we have a couple of, I believe some of you were in when I revealed these before, but we should have the hype command ought to work, as well as should exclamation $. We got Danny M hopping in. Good morning, Danny. Gregersman hitting up with the sub. Oh, look out, Danny. Welcome to the ranks, Gregersman. Thank you so much. Yeah, what Gregersman's talking about is this gent is going to be up for a drawing. We're giving him away this month, so you get to win now, Danny. Well, you get the chance. We got Mama 466. Good morning. How are you today? Yeah, he's kind of creepy. There's a couple things that don't really show up on camera, so I'm going to point this out now, and so everybody has a little bit of an understanding of what's gonna be happening. When I look at this guy, Artemis here, there you go, Gregersman, with the straight cash emote. When we look at I named the bird. Anytime anybody's looking at a model for as many hours as sometimes you can, you have to give things little backstories. And so this is Artemis, and one thing, I'm not happy with the separation on his feathers. They're not defined enough for me. So I'm going to be coming through and we're going to dark line out some of these lower feathers. And then I also want to bolden up, sort of lighten in general his top area. I kind of treat him as a part of the model as a whole, but I kind of want to go through and paint Artemis as if he was his own model. Let's take those same lessons that I try to preach, where we focus on the light being at the top of the model. Well, if he's his own model, he's already positioned at almost the highest point of this thing. So we really have to take him and treat him right. So we're going to do that before we go. Danny says it would be an honor to win one of your masterpieces. Well, Danny, I don't know if I'd call him a masterpiece, but we're going to try and do right by whoever wins it, and we're going to do it correctly. So we got Artemis. We're going to work on this skull. Has a tide mark on it right here. You see his little unibrow. We've got to fix that. And there's a couple sloppy pieces here. I didn't realize that brown bled onto this white here, so we got to touch that up. I took a picture, is what happened. I took a photo of this, and a lot of things revealed themselves. So we're gonna be doing some cleanup today, and I think today will be the last day for Mr. Khan, but we'll see. I could be wrong. And one other thing I wanted to do was I wanted to see, because we've been getting a lot of I've been very washed out lately, and so the plan here is that we could, maybe if I move this a little bit closer to me, it will help. Danny says, hey, by my standards, it is, dude. There you go. Well, I appreciate the compliment there. Let me get some coffee here if it's not still too hot. Hope everybody's been having a good week. I know it's been a weird one. Trying to remember to take my allergy pill so my nose doesn't sit here and sniffle all day. I shared this on Discord. Oh, also, Danny, one of the perks that you get for joining our ranks here is we have a subscriber Discord. So you'll be getting an invite at some point here after the stream. Here we are. So, upcoming project was posted by another one of our subscribers, Clan Wolf. He asked if we could do more demonic, malefic skin tones. He wanted to learn different ways of doing like dark elves, and one thing that came up was red, like demonic skin. So I was able to get one of these hard to find Mantic Hellboys. If anybody's interested, this is actually my mother. She's been missing me since we got into quarantine. I think it's tough not being with family in general. I miss them too, but go ride out the next couple of weeks, and it's way better than getting sick. Oh, God. Throwing everything. I'll just show this little guy off here in style. Thought this would be a nice opportunity to paint something and show off, not just clean this up, not just the like red tones, but we can also play with the contrast on the leather jacket. We can play with different reds because he's got the stone fist here. A little fuzzy on the brush here. Danny says, "Oh, I want some sweet caffeine, but I have none." Oh no. I do a little bit, Danny. I get a little bit of hay fever. I get a little bit of everything in the spring and the fall. I haven't pinpointed what it is, but it definitely has to do with nature. Cutting the grass is kind of a nightmare, and it's got a little bit worse as I've gotten older. Bergsman, oh, nice. Red skin would be super cool. Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be a nice exercise, and we've been practicing red on here a lot lately. And so, we're going to give this a shot. And there's a couple of really great artists that have done tutorials. Angel Garaldes did the tutorial that comes in the box with this particular model, but very recently, Alfonso, how does Alfonso pronounce his last name? Banshee. If you're familiar with him, he's a pretty prominent artist. He did for it's one of the biggest painting competitions, and I'm gonna mispronounce the name of the city, but it's that it's held in. But he actually won the whole thing with it, and he painted it was a very large scale Hellboy, and maybe we can try to follow along and in some way try to replicate one of their styles. Danny says, "Hey Chris, you painting a model I need to work on?" What are you thinking, Danny? What are you working on? Be super cool. Fergusman says, "Okay, I have a question. Do you have a specific type of brush?" So for me, I use a lot of garbage brushes. I shouldn't say garbage brushes, but cheap brushes. They can get pretty expensive. I'll use number 7, 6, 7, or 8 cheap brushes. Like this brush probably fall apart before I wore out the bristles. So the thing with the cheap brushes, you can do the bulk of the painting with a workhorse like this, and then when it comes down to the actual detail work, I've got a few nice brushes, and so I like the Series 7s and I like the Raphaels. So when you look at my stable of nice finishing brushes, I'll be breaking out Series 7s from Winsor Newton. I'll be breaking out Raphael 8404s, and I think the Ruploft makes some of the best liner brushes on the planet. This is actually a size 1 Ruploft. It's a fingernail art brush. The Russian. Wicked Jexter hopping in. Jex says, good morning, still trying to get the coffee going. We got the coffee here, Jex. Yeah, bear with. I'm adjusting this camera's placement a little bit because it was washing me out real bad before. I'm hopeful we'll be able to avoid that. But yeah, Danny. I thought this would make a nice paint along as well. We could kind of play around with this miniature. See how this turns out. She has a couple aspects that I really love. Flowing robes, armor. I like the way that contrasts. I think I always have. Like even when I played World of Warcraft, I liked the paladins because they had both. A lot of times they just had they were all cloth or all armor, and I don't know. I always like the look of this. But we'll get to her soon enough. For now, if we don't at least start with this, I will just paint him on the blue tack blob. Lazarita, good morning. How are you? Is it Lazaretta or Lazarita? Jack says, did somebody say green? Gregersman says, I might paint mine up in a verdigris metal with cream robes. Verdigris is something I've been working on in here a lot lately. So if you have any questions on how to do that, I'm happy to cover those. At least my process. It's quite a bit different than most from what I've encountered. But that's the thing, I'm not a professional painter, and so when you hop in here, we're on a path trying to figure things out. Luz Rita, something like that. Okay. Try to be respectful and say people's names correctly. Gregersman's still out of caffeine. No, sorry, Danny's out of caffeine. Failing an Imperial Fist, says Danny. Yellow's a complicated color. I lose fights with it all the time. Alright, here I'm just grabbing some black paint. Check the dilution. Seems good. And we're going to try and see if I can just ever so gently this might require a little bit more highlighting down here, but I just felt like we needed some separation on these feathers. Like I took the time on the sides of the wings, but we just didn't do it down here. What's been giving you trouble with the fist, Danny? I'm far from an expert on it, but yellow is one of those colors that terrifies me, and so very recently decided to kind of face the hobby fear and dive into colors that confuse and upset me. Yellow just happened to be one of the first ones. get these little leg feathers here. I'm also realizing that at some point along the line I lost my dark line here. We got Obelisk Palooza. Wait, how did I even get there? Obelisk Pula. Hello and welcome on in. Thank you for stopping by. How are you today? Bergersman says hello. He says, I was trying to replicate how you did yours. Oh, well, that being the case, I can demystify any part of that. If you have any questions, please ask. Come up in here. Let's see. Get these fingers a bit separated. Let's also edge out his talons. Start to get them to pop. Obelisk, hopefully I'm saying at least the first portion of your name correctly. I'm doing well. I think everybody's doing what they can this week, trying to live life as best we can. Just trying to be careful here around these talons. This is a transition from yellow to pink. Okay. Well, what kind of pink are you using currently? I like a darker magenta to start with and then just start adding white to it. The reality that I found was that you truly do need just a really bright color. It needs to also actually turn into white in the highlights. It's only ever really pink in the shadows. I've seen a lot of people painting in this way, and they leave them pink the whole way, and they never really do achieve a fully saturated yellow. Screamer pink, that's a hot one, right? I don't think I have that out for reference, but that's like a tentacle pink or something like that. Mind the angle here. I'm trying to thread the needle between a beak and an eye here in a second. And also, it's like out here to keep it on camera. See if you guys can see this. Look how far this thing is. It's all the way out here. It's a weird one. The evil honk. How are you doing today? Dan says, yeah, all I have. I think that's fine. The scream. Oh, wait a second. Here's a pink. Like this. This isn't screamer pink, but it's pretty pink. Obelisk says, is the hero from clay? That's just a chunk of poster tack I'm using to hold them. Just trying to define the beak. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty good there. Trying to keep up with chat without. Danny says, 1 second, I'll show you if you don't. Oh, no, thank you for grabbing me a reference so I have somewhere to go from. Danny's laughing. Gregsman says, your model is being eaten by a big blue slug. Yep, the big blue slug was unforeseen. That's on me. Everybody hold tight. Fear not. We will we'll provide with better accommodations for our miniature. I'll get to that in just Just a hot moment, Danny. There you go. Cancel the slug. It lost its fight. Evil Honk says, I want to hug that fluffy bird. Burb? His name is Artemis. For real, I gave him that title. All right, Danny, that's not looking bad at all. What are you talking about? Danny says, who is the gold guy in the background? Well, let's focus on your transition here. First off, I don't think you've done anything incorrectly here. Danny, I will say this. Do you have my a link to my YouTube channel? And I don't know if you've watched my... If that's the way you're intending to do it, and I can give you advice in here and talk to you about what I would do differently and what I think you've done right, we can absolutely do that. But if you want, I actually uploaded the VOD of the day I was working on like a shoulder pad and arm transition. And you can actually watch me destroy a shoulder pad, which is pretty funny. You can watch me fix it by actually doing a different shoulder pad. And then I talk a little bit about why I did what I did and what I would do differently. The transition takes practice, that's for sure. Slug lives do matter, Gregersman. I won't forget that one. That was going to stick with me for a second. Jack says, yeah, Danny, that looks really good, brother. Yeah, I like it a lot. And one thing, let me pull this up real quick. If anybody's interested, when you go to my Instagram, there's a link tree. Instagram down below, by the way, where you can access the different pieces that I have, and the YouTube. Boom! That's me. That's me painting. Right here, the one thing that has some views is the Imperial Fist. And it's just a couple of VODs. I didn't do any work or anything to them. But if you click on that, you'll be able to watch the whole process. You can see the transitions that we got and how we pulled through. That's the quickest way to it. If you would prefer, Danny, I can send you a direct link. We got over 60 in here. Over 60, the newest and coolest of our patrons over on Patreon. Tried finding your YouTube, but could not find it. Very soon, actually, and due mostly in part to the number of people that have hopped over onto Patreon to support, we have ordered some equipment here, and there's going to be quite a bit more content coming over to the YouTube, explaining different processes. You know, I'm not... I don't want to say this. I said it earlier. I'm not a professional painter, and so I'm a hobbyist like everybody else. And when it comes to tutorials and things that... different techniques, it took me a very long time to decipher what people were actually talking about. And so I feel like in some way... it might be nice to be a transitioner piece for people that are learning how to paint. Like, take that high-level explanation that a professional is going to give you, like an Angel Garaldes, when he talks about how he does different things. I sit there, I'm like, okay, buddy, like I hear you. I see what you did, but that little technical aspect of how he did the transition, but probably more importantly, like, why is he doing what he's doing when he's doing it, has taken me a very long time to start to demystify. And I don't think, and it's probably because they've been painting for so long that they don't understand that they're not explaining it completely, but I think we can fill a little bit of those pieces in. But yes, Gregersman, thank you so much. Yeah, our subs have been on the rise, and in general, community support has been so good. I felt like, who am I to kind of take away from that when I could take it and kind of sink it right back into something that everybody seems to enjoy. Over 60 says, D12 first look. I love him so much. I love this model. He's the only one I actually own. He is a wizard. Did your, excuse me, over 60, was your staff bent as well? Would you prefer over 60 or Steven? Let me pull these links up. It was not, no matter. Yeah, mine, I mean, you can see the curve. It's got more bend in it than something that was kicked by Beckham. Which is not the best, but I have a couple tricks for fixing that work pretty well. And let me find that YouTube channel. Copy the link address. Here we are. We're zooming through this. Steven is cool. Okay, we'll stick with that. But yeah, a little heat can go a long way with these different types of plastics, and so we will get him bent back into shape. And I think we're gonna pick one of these to do a community paint along with. I think they're so fun. Seeing what you've done with them is just like let's say like a sign in the stars, but like it seems to just make sense. You know, we were just having this conversation around what we wanted to paint and how we wanted to do something for like as a community, and then I take a look at these obelisks with the sweet emotes. There you go. What's I even gonna say? Track that thought. You know, we're looking at those dice, and then all of a sudden you post up like, "Hey, I just got done painting those." I was like, "Of course you did, because they're freaking awesome." It's just so cool. Danny throwing that straight cash emote out. Well, hopefully we can do an alright job with it, and I thought we could use it as an exercise to go through maybe some color theory. Talk about, like, for example, we could pick a different color for each one of the dice, and then cover like how we're gonna paint each little aspect of them, and it could be a nice community exercise and demystifying some different colors that people tend to struggle with. I know I've been doing a lot of red lately. We could stick with red or switch it up to something totally opposite, like go super green with it. Cover why we do different things at different times. Steven says, I tried some blending on the D6 and ugh. I saw your D6, you got a couple pictures up, you should be proud of that. Those transitions, those blends, it's all practice. Techniques like that, that's all it is. It's all about the time. I can show you some tricks that, like I'm a wet blender. That's, if you look at any of the techniques that I use, that's the one that I am probably the most proficient with at my level. And you have to understand, like I spend all day looking at people that do the things that I'm trying to do way above me, and I just try to like catch up. And he says, I see you fixed the skull color because I know it came out different because of the undercolor. Yeah, the right one. Yeah, I painted them. I'll do that a lot. I'll paint things, especially if I have multiple options. Like I painted this rope 2 different ways. I painted these skulls 2 different ways. I like this one, and then we worked our way across. On the Sorsha bust, And though I haven't finished the trim on her jacket, I wasn't sure how I wanted to do it, and so we did these 2 different ways here. I've done her trim the whole way around 2 different ways. Here you can see the original. It's important to shake things up a little bit. Over 60 is hard here in Vegas. It's so dry that the paints dry out fast. Are you using a wet palette, Steven? Wet palette was a game changer for me. Okay, that was a good separation. I'm going to try to fix this piece up here. Give me just a second, Danny. I'm going to catch up with you here. Yes, but it dries out too. Desert living. I have a friend that lives in Arizona who paints, and I know that there's professionals that live out your way. There's got to be some tricks. I'm not like tight with any of them, but we're like loosely associated through social media. Give me a couple days. I'm sure someone will get back to me before the weekend's over. Maybe we can get you some tactics for that desert living. They might just say, I know, I don't know if you're familiar with the Pigeon Squirter. He's another streamer here on Twitch. He's an artist. The color combinations he comes up with are astounding. But he lives in Malaysia, and I know he has to keep that AC blasting all the time, and he's like always changing his wet palette. So it could just be one of those things where you've got to stay on top of it. I know they have a lot of issues with the palette molding on them. You very well just might be part of the parcel out there. Give me a second to catch these lines up. If I missed anything anybody was talking about while I was working on some of these transitions, please feel free to repost them or highlight them or in some way yell at me for being a jerk and missing them. I do try not to. But yes, for you subs, we're going to give this guy away this month. And I think we're going to take the giveaways and we're going to start doing them every other. I just like taking more time with them. I figure rather than doing them more regularly, we'll do a better job. Who wants to win a poorly painted model, you know? Okay, Danny says, no, you're not a jerk, Nomadic. You're here to paint. I do try to keep up with the chat. I think that's when I started this thing. My younger brother, who is, I'm sure if you've been in here for any period of time, you've encountered the good Doc Holiday, but Jack says, K, get more coffee. There you go, more Java. But he said, like, the most important thing is going to be your chat. I was like, I got to figure out how to get this thing on camera. I had all these logistic things about how I was going to paint. He's like, yeah, you'll learn that. He goes, you know how to paint. You're going to figure that out. I was like, okay. He's like, but the thing you're going to have to learn how to do is how to read while you paint. Like, oh, unforeseen. But very true, you know, the little things you don't consider when you start. Lazrita says to Steven, maybe try to cover the wet palette when you know that it's going to take a bit longer. You know, put the lid on. Here's another question, over 60. Did you purchase your wet palette, or is it one that you've homemade? DC's in the chat. Sorry, DC, you hopped in with the same chat tone as Danny and Gregersman. I'm sorry I lumped you in with them. How are you today? Glad to see you stopping by. Over 60 says, when you do the dice, let me know so I can buy again. Oh, I will do. I just want to settle on some things. I know some of our, we had somebody living in the UK was saying that they were unable to pick it up off of the Reaper site, but possibly could pick up a die from somewhere else. And the question I'm going to probably ask the community before we get rolling is, do we want to start with from like the D4 and work our way up to the D20, or do we want to start with the D20 and work our way down? We'll figure that out. The gold guy looks like a kit bash. This guy? His helmet certainly is. At home made first, and then over. Stephen bought one. Did you buy which one did you pick up? I use the Mastersons. Trying to keep up here, but we will as soon as we know what we're gonna do. We'll go that way. DC says doing good. Thanks. Finally able to get some of my shame painted during this crazy time. Yeah, there's always a find the good in all things, right? We have Proven Sal hopping in. Hi, good morning, Sal. How are you today? Or maybe it's Proven. What would you like to go by? Purple smoke on the water. Dane says, wow, that's cool. What is it from? I'm not certain. This is a commission army that I'm working on. And they came assembled. Yeah, he's just a standard one of these guys. Talking about doing verdigris, Gregersman. You remember this guy? That's my verdigris style. He just got a special helmet to separate him from the other people in his squad so he can look a little bit different. Soon, I'm going to be doing their trails. We got these custom... Oh, Proven, thank you so much for that subscription. Working so hard to keep the lights on. We just hit our initial goal. That was our goal to order the camera, but I jumped the gun a little bit to try and get things together. Just a little bit sooner. As much appreciated. You are entered into the drawing now to win this guy. We'll be doing it here before the end of the month, or at the end of the month. Just depends on what's going on with everybody life-wise. We'll get this guy wrapped up between now and then. So welcome to the ranks. You also get a Discord invite here after the stream. I'll kick that out. Yeah, I like these smoke trails. I thought they added something. When the client was talking about getting everything painted up, and we were talking about like the different expenses and like tiers, like why does some cost more than others? It's like, well, it's just time, you know. Like how much time do you want done? Do you want them like to be bronze and painted with nice shoulders, or do you want to be like bronze and weathered up with nice shoulders? And do you want to be weathered up and with like custom basing? All these things go into it, right? And what kind of hurry are you in? Kind of thing. DC says those jet streams are amazing. Yeah, they are pretty cool. They had something that not everybody sees. No, proven not magnets, but that I do think that's how I'm going to end up mounting them. They don't have anything on them currently. I haven't committed to that just yet. Like, do we attach them permanently to the base, or just go like a couple 3 mils? I'm thinking the 3 mils might do the job. Thank you, Danny. They do look cool. Obelisk says, Pneumatic, can you give 1 month subscription? Can I give a 1 month subscription? Like to hand out? Somebody needs a sub? Let's do some work. Things here. I don't think I got any of the Ulthen Gray out yet. Yeah, I haven't handed out any subs on months that I do the drawings. Mostly because I've, you know, everything I do, I don't hide behind any paywalls, and you know, other than the Patreon's going to get early access as soon as we start with the videos. You know, it's mostly the support people give me is for the, you know, support of the channel is all. And but yeah, this is my small way of giving back to them. Since we dark lined this, I'm just coming back and cleaning up with a little highlight line along those gasket marks. There's another thing up here I wanted to, that was bugging me. I was saying earlier, I took a picture of my model, and then now I saw like too many mistakes on it. Like, oh no, can't have my name on this. Not as it is. Everything is coming together super well, and I'm not saying that it isn't. It just, like right here, this little sloppiness down here really needs tidied up. That's not me. And then right here, I remember right along this dark line, there's a little stain from when I cleaned it up. Lazarita says, at Pneumatic, you have your fingers all painted, do I? I paint his little fingers right now. That's true. And then there's another stain. It's not really a stain, but right here along the foot, it's kind of darker on one side than the other. So we're going to make it just a uniform depth the whole way. And hopefully in some way that'll look tidier. Smooth that out, so to speak. And then right down here we had a little dark spot. I think that's okay, but it just needed to be the same. It was like the moment that picture came out, I was like, oh no. Danny says, when will you start the giveaway, Chris? We'll start we'll make an announcement here going into the end of the month. If you're a subscriber, you don't have to do anything to get into it. You're auto-entered, and it's only for subs. So if I could hit maybe we could set up a goal to buy models or something. We could do for followers as well, but I haven't thought to do that. I don't know that I have the I don't know, I just hadn't considered it till right now. We could also do something like, oh, we're going to give away this model unpainted to a follower, and then we're going to do a painted one to go to a sub. Perhaps something like that could be the way of the future. I'm just kind of insisting on this highlight. Yeah, there's nothing concrete on that one, Danny. Alright, and the other things that were really bothering me too much is up in his skin tones. The face is just sloppy in a couple of spots. And so we're going to fix that. Possibly I shouldn't be using such a small brush to do this, but maybe we'll start with, yeah, let's get in here a little bit smoother. He has these big bushy eyebrows, and so I'm going to start kind of got to paint them larger than they are. These big old caterpillars that he's got, which in some ways is probably helpful. Don't mind as I like lean into the model to try to get close. You can see how small he is by like my thumb. Trying to keep these details in line. So we're gonna overpaint these details on his hair, and then we're gonna come back through with the flesh tone and tidy them up. Index Regalia says, oof, actually awake when you are on for once. Well, good morning and thanks for stopping by. Jex says, bag with a big mug. Getting wired on that good stuff. There you go, Jex. Hopefully your morning's going well. Alright. It's starting to make a bit more sense now. Do a little separation in here. Dark lining is black magic. I'm gonna do a bit of a better job with it. Okay. So we overpainted the eyebrows because they are so fine. Index says, is it morning? It is. Here on the East Coast US though. Alright, let's see here. Now we overpainted this eyebrow. Let's reclaim it a bit. Try to hold this in a way that doesn't make it blow out. Danny says, all I can hear is my son wailing silly noises. Jake says, you know it, Danny. Pixie, good morning, mate. How are you doing? Back at you. How are you today? Don't mind me here. Just kind of insisting on the skin tone over top of the black of the eyebrow. Get them to crispen up. I also seemingly spilled over just a hair on this dot. So I'm going to try to pick that up a bit. We're going to do the same thing over here. Pixie, I hope your week's been going well. I've been working, trying to stay busy, trying to get things rolling here for the stream a little better. I was showing everybody earlier. I'll show you now that you're here. We got our camera to start doing videos. Pretty exciting. Little mirrorless guy. Big kid stuff. Maybe we can might be too close to the desk. Yep, there it is. I'll post that later. Put that in the Discord. See if it's any different than the phone photos we've been taking. Danny says, what Sony is that? It's an A7, yes. Over 60 says, here's how I spend my confinement. Work computers on the left, Linux computer for personal stuff, and painting station on the right. So much to do. Dang, Steven, what are you, you a little redhead action over there? What you got going? Oh, look at that on a big screen. I'm feeling good. All that. I don't know why I can't stop smiling. You got me on big TV. That's cool. Yeah, Danny, I wanted to sync over the next, obviously, few months what people have been kind of projected to donate into the stream here and put it back into things to kind of in some way be able to better explain things like what you're talking about, Danny. If I can use that to in some way better record my process on something like those Imperial Fists, and that helps you, then that's what that money should be going towards, you know. Let's tidy up the corners of this cape. You know, I'm in this to keep myself honest and active as a painter, not bringing anything in, you know. And if we can use the support to improve the quality people can see and learn from, then that's what it's doing. We got Nerd 404 hopping in. How's life? Life's good. In these weird times, I think that's all we can do is try to embrace some goodness in things. A little bit more saturation here. Finger painting. Don't worry about that. It says your white looks on point. I dislike this. You know what we're doing in here. We're attacking things that terrify, and white is one of those subjects. We got the art of Mike Disney. Mike, a good morning to you, sir. How are you today? You guys want to see something awesome? Give me just a second. That's that thing. Okay. Took a little bit of doing, but my very first commission for another artist came through. Aaron J. Banks says, dude, what the hell is wrong with me? I switched over from a hot British girl with a really cute accent to watch Berg Broski. Said Chris painting con. That's correct. Yins out in Seattle know what's good down this way, okay? It's very good to be in here where we paint things. I was just about to show off this beautiful, beautiful skirmish-sized squad from the hands of none other than the beautiful Mike Disney. Look at this fire. Contrasting beautifully with these blue toads. We got official freehand. Look at this. Support your local artists, even if they are out of Detroit. That's right. Nerd says, yep, acting stuff like Terrify paint rollers and a 5-inch brush. That's how you keep it smooth. Kids don't know about that. Art says, white is getting painted everywhere. Uh-oh, that's tough. Yeah, I got them all magnetized, Mike, so that they don't rub or anything when I'm transporting them. They're going to be well tended after. I'm super stoked. I've got, this is for War Machine and Horde's Company of Iron, and my one buddy's already on the books to get thwomped by him. I don't know if we'll actually be able to pull out the victory. This is kind of a casual for fun list, but I thought we gotta rep them. I'm super stoked about them. It's like I said, it's my first real commission from somebody, and so I'm really excited to have them in. Aaron J. Banks says Yuns are crazy, but it's a good thing. That's correct. We're going down pants in that, and we're gonna get some nice things. Okay, church clothes. Laser Rita says the water is awesome. Yeah, Mike crushed it with the water, the fire. All aspects of the atmosphere on those models are so fun. Nerd says to Aaron J. Bang, beautiful women are a dime a dozen, but this nomadic Christopher, he's 1 in a million. 2. Nerd, 2 million. Where we at here? Index Regalia says, so pretty. They are, aren't they? These toads are dope. That's right, Nerd. If you're going to get a commission, you got to pick fun models. Not everybody's got them. Get them done up correct. Just be patient. Just wait for them. They're going to come back. They're going to be one of a kind. Support your local artist. Should be a hashtag. Boom, boom. Aaron says, Art of Mike Disney, you painted these? Yes, he did. He says, really happy you like them. I'm so glad that you enjoyed them. The last thing I want to do was, rush anybody. I'm like, you know what? It's going to be one of a kind, and they truly are. And I know that they gave you some trouble there at the end. The frogs, they like to jump off boards, they like to jump off tables, and they were trying to give Mike all kinds of grief. And they succeeded, but the product is excellent. And Ace Regalia says they look dope. They truly, truly do. Yes, that's right. You gotta break out that accent now and again. When I had my emotes made, my cash emote, you can't tell in here, but if you look down below, and you scroll down to the donation through PayPal, you'll see, not that I'm fishing for a donate, but it is it's the cash emote. You can see he's got that Pittsburgh P. I was painting, and then we got Aaron J. Bang and Mike Disney, 2 brothers from other mothers, 2 fantastically bearded artists, rolling in here. Got me all worked up. That's right, straight cash emote. Nerd says, are you wearing a skull cap under that peak in your cash emote? He is wearing a do-rag. The funny thing is the guy that's making the emotes for me, like, he has an understanding like how I am as a person, and that emote represents probably just 100% of somebody I'm not. But it's kind of perfect in that way, if that makes sense. I think, at least. Man, we're falling apart here. We were trying to do some painting. People probably want to see paint. It's only 6:30. It's crazy. I got snow outside. Anybody excited about that? A little snow out there? Danny says, I can join the beard, but not the great artist. Danny, you can absolutely hop in here. The bearded community is very inclusive. We take a bad rap. It's a little bit sexist, but we're really not. It's just but no, we're a very inclusive party. Just bring a little lead belcher in here to separate some of these hoops. That's right, I put my metallics on a wet palette. I don't care who knows it. Aaron J. Banks says, hey Chris, FYI, I think your donate link is busted. Try to do it up, but it's not working. What the heck? 401, sorry, you're not authorized to access this page. What's up with that, Streamlabs? Well, it looks like I'm getting no donates for today, but we will get that sorted out. These past couple of days have been so overwhelmingly kind from everybody with the support we've been receiving. Hope everybody's holding up all right. Okay, there's another one. Oh yeah, it's right here by the horse. I remember. Aaron, you might not have noticed this, but oh, thank you so much for the cheer. So have a few pride bucks instead, I guess. Well, thank you, Aaron. Mike says at Nomadic, what's your white recipe? So I'm using a 3-part buildup here for my white. There's a couple of ways I like to paint it, but I kind of like the way this is. And I think if I was feeling bold, I could push the shadows a bit and really get something striking, which we may do. But what I've used here, get my brush tidied up. I like to leave metallics set in them. Is I'm using a 3-part buildup, 2 pieces of P3 paint and 1 part of a Citadel, but you know, brand's not specific. So we're using 2 Crix colors. We got the Crixbane base into the Crixbane highlight, and we're finishing it off with a highlight of Ulthuan Grey. So effectively, I base coated it all over Crixbane base. We covered nearly 100% of it with Crixbane highlight on top of that, and then we selectively highlighted with Ulthuan Grey. Danny says, Art of Mike Disney. Normally you pull back and forth. Oh. Danny, that's a bad joke. Just a bad one. But Danny is a father. He's making them dad jokes. That's all he's got. It comes with age and it comes with opportunity. But yeah, Ulthuan Grey is very, I mean, this is pretty darn white, yeah? Just comes across that way. Art of Mike Disney says, sorry, Danny, I didn't get it. It feels bad, man. Danny should feel bad, not you, Mike. Danny's joke was bad and he knows it. Hexanet, good morning. Look, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna level with everybody in here. I don't like puns. I think they're the weakest form of comedy. We got Wu-Tang Clan. Everybody in here, protect your necks. It's advice I got from somebody along the road. Welcome on in. I hope you're doing well. Let me find some brighter white. We talk about how bright that Olefin Gray is, and here's the important part. I'm going to take a little titanium white, which anybody that's painted for a period of time knows is about the whitest white. And what I'm going to do, because this armor looks pretty darn white, yeah? We're going to take just a little bit of this. I'm going to edge highlight a couple of these spots. Right along here. Just a little bit. It's going to get brighter. Oh, it's so bright it's kind of fading out the camera. But soon, by the end of this weekend, I will have the new camera hooked up to record the stream, and it ought to give us quite a bit better definition here on models and color understanding as well. The Wu-Tang Clan coming in to fight the Shaolin. How are you today? Are you an artist? And if you are, you better share that dope work. Nerd404 says, at Nomadic, are you cold? If you are, go stand in the corner. It's 90 degrees. Did you try hard for that one? Because you gotta... God. Ba-dump. I need a ba-dump, dump, dump button. Just... Danny M says that's it, Nomadic. Shame me. Not like shame, but like for shame. It was deliberate. That's what I know. Like a snowball attack. Where are we? Mike says I wish I could get my stuff hooked up. What's up? Well, you got support out your way, Mike. I know you got some crack people in your area. They know what they're dealing with. We got the Comrade. What do we got here? Comrade Cantaloupe. It's like a communistic fruit over here. It says, oh, is that a White Scar Marine? Yes, it is. This is a chapter master. This birdie up here, his name is Artemis. I named him as I was working on his feathers. Hexnex says, I did those lately, Nomadic. Let's have a peek. I didn't know if you saw them. I may have missed. What have we here? Ooh. I think I saw some of the spiders without the goblins. If anybody's taken this link, and you absolutely should, Hex is working on, various projects throughout the years, months that we've known each other. And the most important thing is that Hex doesn't see colors so well. And so when you look at his vibrant work, Hex, if you want to tell the story, feel free. Wu-Tang says, yeah, I do Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar. I like to think that you practice some kind of foo. Art Mike Disney says, need my capture card installed. Mike, if we live closer together, we'd hook that up directly. I'm waiting on mine to come. It was a cruel thing. My camera came yesterday, and it came with no accessories. And so I couldn't afford to do a camera and lenses, but I have old camera gear, so I bought an adapter, and it's going to show up whenever it decides to, but I just don't know when. So I went and borrowed a lens off a friend. Shout out to my boy Matt. Hooked it up. The Comrade Cantaloupe, my new favorite red fruit, says, is there an Eldar head he's holding in his armored gauntlet? No, I like to think that this is a human head, and I like to think that they're fighting like definitely a Xenos army, and like Artemis here shows up with the human head, and he's like, Artemis, where did you get this? Aaron says, installed, isn't it just a P&P mic? It might be, but it might also be an internal connection. It might not be comfortable there, Aaron. Nerd says, nomadic is the phrase run through campsite or ran through the campsite because it's past tense. This guy has no brakes. NG Luminous says, morning, Nomadic. Well, good morning back at you. Hope you're well. We got the Macarai. Thank you so much for following. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. I used to work in a school, and we used Meraki systems, and my one co-worker used to always call it Marakai. Your name makes me think of that. That's funny. Mike says to Aaron, I see the sir. I don't even know what that means. Yeah, PMP means plug and play, Mike. Just connect it and go. But not all of them are. Macarai says, hi there, White Scars, yay, model's looking cool. Thank you so much. He's actually a gift to the stream. We're painting him up for the subscribers. He's going to be given away later this month. He's a fun little piece of giving back here. Just something to give back a little bit of love for all that support. People have been sort of overwhelming with that. And G Luminous says, did you plug it in? Is it turned on? Are you sure you plugged it in? We got Inks the Kitsune says, looks like an Eldar head. It could be, but that would destroy my narrative. Inks is probably correct. Actually, there's very few lore things that have come up over the months that Inks has chimed in on that they have not been just 100% correct about, so I default to their expertise. How have you been, Jade? Lamoons? I'm going to try to get this name correctly. NG says, naughty time already, Art of Mike Disney. Oh no. Saru Karn is a White Scar hunter. I'm going to plug you in. Oh, Mike. Who's starting with you? Is it Aaron? Aaron. Starting Mike up. I have an Elgato capture card. PMP means plug and play. The Elgato I use has the driver included in the device, so when you plug it in, it just downloads the driver to the computer. That's true. I think I got an AverMedia card. Aaron says to Nomadic, here's my latest. We are talking about Mortifiers, finished them all up. Yeah, also, as I take this link, if anybody has anything they'd like to share, any art projects they're working on, please do. Oh, Aaron J. Bang, my newest Facebook friend. I caught this morning on the old bookie. We have Lamunis. Oh, thank you, Michael. I called you Michael again. My brother is Mike as well. It slips out. I apologize. Mike goes by Mike. My mother was big on full names. It's a respect thing. It's not meant to be disrespect. You guys are crazy with this chat. I need to turn this monitor up on his head. Keep up with y'all. Lamunis. I'm going to remember that now. The Comrade Cantaloupe says, the lore has changed so much since I was into 40k. Even Warhammer is totally different now. I stopped during the Albion campaign. I used to play back when dice had to bounce and things had to be measured in advance. Now I just paint. Oh yeah, my one aunt used to torment my brother with the Mikey motorcycle thing. He hated it. I hated it. It was more cringeworthy than a dad joke. That's right, nerd. I call you from the warp. Yeah, nerd, you're not going to find Elgato right now. It seems like people are stuck from home and they think streaming is a good way to pass the time or something. I don't know. But I'm happy that I found something. Over 60 Painter, Steven says, one issue with Reaper miniatures I am finding, you have to wash them really well or the paint does not stick. That's true, and it's not unique to Reaper. See, that's a mold release, and that the Bones models have the way that they cast them, they're coated very, very well to get them to come out smoothly. But G-Dub isn't terrible. Their plastic's very good out of the box with it, but you should still give them a scrub. I mean, think about the time you spend painting something. You might as well take the 4 minutes to scrub it up. It's just not worth the hassle, you know. Nerd would stab a demon for a USB capture. And G says to Art of Mike Disney, I'm actually partial to Llama Noose. That Susie QQ started. Oh, Llama. If you're down with Lamanus, or yeah, Lamanus, we're gonna go with that. I like the llama. Aaron says, Derp, I forgot Berg Broski. There you go. Art of Mike Disney says, as long as there's no Y, yep. Ink says, 40K lore has changed that much. Danny with the shouts out. RJ Bang says, time to run off to bed and food and anime and all that stuff. Later, amigos. Shouts out to Pneumatic and Art of Mike Disney and to the chat. We'll catch you later, Aaron. Hopefully you rest well. Danny M says, later. We got the Yama Yama says, I've had a resin kit that refused to hold primer even after being scrubbed, soaked, you name it. I eventually got it to hold by spraying a layer of varnish over it before I primed. Yeah, Laminus, the resin's always a mixture. So it's like a two-part kind of, not epoxy, but you mix it up, and based on that mixture, you could get something that is much more rigid and to some degrees more frail in that way, and some are more rubbery, just depending on what the percentages are and what the brand is. Sometimes you can get them to come out super, super smooth, and some of them have a lot of tooth on them natively. I don't particularly care much for the smoothness on some of them. So I completely understand that happening. And sometimes that's necessary. A little something like that. Give us just a moment. We're going to continue to touch this up while we chat. Oh no. Throwing a nice paintbrush on the floor. Hey, we're alright. Peek here. Yeah, we're jamming. No big deal. We're good. It's all good. Just had a couple of these spots here that have rubbed off while we were painting. Tidy those up. There we are. Ink says to Comrade Cantaloupe, the 40K changed a lot, but it's settled down. Now it's really consistent. That's good. Yamina says tonight to Aaron, and Steven, the over 60 painter, says, one thing before I go, I have a saying, the reason we grow old is so we can look back on all the things we did as a kid and wonder, how did I ever survive? How do we make it this long, right? And time to go later. Well, Steven, you have a good day. Hopefully things are well for you out there, and stay safe. I love the updates we're getting on social, so keep up the work, and I'll get you an invite to the Discord here later on in the afternoon. I'm gonna pick this up real quick. Yeah, it's very hard to it's probably impossible on this webcam, but all the way up in this eye, right in here, there's a little eyelid, and I got just a little scoosh of the eye color. So if you bear with me here, just a moment. We're going to realign this eye. Eyes are tough. I know this isn't on the camera, but I don't know how I can do this otherwise. This is just a lot. Okay. Better. I don't think that it was going to be something that anybody could really view anyhow, but I still feel bad for having to take it off. Ink, since I have you, these two little bolts on his forehead, should those be done metallic? What are they made of? Do we know? If they are, we will do that. Alright, there's just a couple of aspects here along this belt buckle that are a little weak. It's got some black on it, so we're gonna go for some coverage here, and hopefully in that way we'll be quite a bit tidier. Let's dab this in quite liberally. Alright. It's a little translucent, but I think ultimately it'll be alright. We will now try to hit the next line. Okay. I'm also noticing that up in here in his hair, a couple little wraps up in here. Try to make them the right color. We'll make them metal. Hope everybody's having a good morning and had, if possible, an even better week. I've been trying to stay active as much as you can during a time like this, but it's hard. Sometimes things can happen, just kind of take the wind out of your sails. Let's see here. We're going to take some of these details out. Danny says, I'm going to get some sleep later. Going to get some sleep later. I'm assuming it's a comma later, like you're heading out now. If so, Danny, you enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully things go well. I'm glad you stopped in, and we'll get you that Discord invite here soon. After stream ends, I have to get ready to drive into the office, and if I don't get it out immediately, it'll be obviously there for after you get some rest. That goes for anybody else that was gifted a sub or subscribed themselves here this morning. Just kind of adding more red into these lightning bolts. More red to everywhere, huh? Let's see here. Might run a little airbrush here for a little bit here this morning. Let me kick my compressor on real quick. That moment when you realize you disconnected the power for it. Not ideal, but not the end of the world. Okay, so let me make sure we're working correctly here. Good. Okay, so we're gonna mix up a nice purpley shadow color here. This is a recipe that I like to use a lot for my dark lining, and well, it's kind of grown on me for other things. So let's start with a little bit of our thinning solution. A couple drops in here, quite a bit. I want this to be a fairly thick. I don't want this to be very thick at all. I want it to be a fairly thin, very much a glazed dilution. I'm just going to put a drop of this very tealy black in. I'm going to try and not do that with my nice brush. Let me grab my junk around brush. I'm going to bring in a little bit of this sanguine base, this nice rich purple, to desaturate it a bit. Still want it to be pretty green, but it's actually not bad. Add a little bit more, just a touch. While we're on the subject, we're going to add just a little bit of black, because it's probably too much black. Clean this up mostly off my brush. Let's add just a little bit in there. That's a nice, terribly dark mixture, and then pretty thin. This is one of those finishing techniques that will really smooth things out, but also you run that risk of really doing some damage. So let's see what we can't make sure we don't harm anything here. And then background. A little bit wet and I'm spraying a little too much paint, so I'm gonna grab this shadow. Even bolden up a little bit of this arm. Ooh, girl, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Hang on. That's something we're gonna have to fix. Just trying not to destroy anything. Ooh. Maybe it wasn't the worst thing, but it wasn't planned. Ah, Pesgetti Man. Is that a Apuschetti person? Good morning. Thank you so much for that follow. Welcome on in. How are you today? We are just ever so gently darkening some shadows here. Daring to ruin a few hours of work here. But I think it's important to risk in times like this. It's how we grow. If not now, then when will we try to learn? Might actually try to bolden that red up a bit as well. It's like the only real adjustment that I see is that the model gets a little bit wet, and then we wait to see what kind of results we get. I think that really did smooth out some of those shadowy transitions. You can also hope that in some ways it softens the tones. Yeah, I think that's good. Well, we got just a little bit more of the shadow. I'm gonna apply it up here on these skulls. A little bit of the inner side of the bird. A little bit more on this face. What do we think about a little bit of blood on the decapitated head? I usually don't paint things like that, but perhaps now's a fine time to do so. I don't know. Could look cool. You never know. It could be that next level look. I'm just gonna clean out the airbrush a little bit with some water. Alright. My highlight color. Just some Cawdor red, which is like a primary looking red. So I'm going to take, there it is, a little bit of that. We got Sick Freeds. Thank you so much for that follow. Welcome on in. How are you today? Hopefully you're holding up all right. We're working on a white scar. Oh hey, there's quite a bit of Blackstone there. That would not be ideal, huh? Alright, so we're going to take a little bit of this. Super diluted. Let's see. Yeah. Oop. Just showing on my thumb how glazed back we are here. We're just hitting these edges. We're just pocketing the light. It's super thin, so we're gonna be doing these. You know, it's like a very subtle thing where we're just gonna see that it's getting wet, and we're not gonna see a whole lot of color change. But we let it dry, and then we'll come back at it. So sometimes these sprays are air. Sometimes they have paint with them, and when I see that it gets wet, I give it some air until I see it go dry, and then we'll give it a little paint, and then we'll see it go dry, and back and back. I think what we want is just a little bit more color in this area here. We just want to saturate and like insist that the red turns red on us. That's too much paint. I'm trying to dust that out. We don't want a bunch of that. But now we're starting to get there. Art of Mike Disney coming in saying, tight, bro. Super tight. How have things been up your way, Mike? Don't do this to me, not this late. I'm not good enough at this to just hit it and be done. I glaze it back probably a little more than I should and try to tidy it up later. But I feel like if I commit too much to the color, yeah, it'll go fast, but we're gonna ruin something. So keeping it light like this, keeping it fluffy, we can do a little back and forth. Slow and steady does it at my level. All right, let's set this here for just a moment. Let's come at it with a little brush action, see what we got. Like says, very painty. Pixie rolling in says, looking awesome as usual. Thank you so much, Pixie. Yeah. All right. Just make sure we're smooth. I like that a lot more, quite a bit more saturation now in this red. I think if I was slick, I'd come in here and two brush blend back a bit of this shadow. It's a nice transition there. Push that back, tidy this up just a wee bit. Mike, do you two brush blend very much? I'm trying to learn. Yeah. I guess pretty good. Nice little transition there. Bam. Bam. Yeah, I've seen you doing the breaking it out time and again, but I work primarily between, like, obviously layering is a thing, like layering is a part of it, but like I'm primarily wet on wet and then a little two brush action. I think we're getting that result. And also that little purple shading I did is really bringing the brightness up a skosh. But I'm also seeing we got a little pink over here. How in the actual hell did pink get down there? That's what I'm talking about. Sometimes you just gotta dare to ruin something. Let's see. Let's get down to that shadow. Keep that white smooth. There's one thing I've been pretty proud of through this whole little experiment was that I've been able to in some way manage to keep the paint from chalking up on me. And that's, I think that's at least half the battle. We got Too Many Sprues rolling in saying, yo, yo. Well, yo, back at you, Too Many Sprues. How are you today? Ooh. We'll keep that there. We're gonna let that dry. We'll highlight it here afterwards. Where do we have here? Here's where we had our issue before. We had a little spray up from the shadow color we were using. It spattered a bit. We're gonna tidy that up. And then, excuse me, and then we will re-highlight with this Olefin Gray. Kind of push that back. That's that wet blend. That's how Bob did it. That's how I'm doing it. It's working out pretty well so far. That's all right. Now this red's starting to dry. Too Many Spruce says, yeah, I'm good apart from drilling through my model while magnetizing it. Haha, lucky it's only small, so using plastic filler. That's good. Shouts out to Jade. Well, here's one for you. I got fresh commission in from Mike Disney, and I'm magnetizing the bases. You want to talk about a new level of stress and frustration. Trying to bore into a resin model and just hoping you don't hit an air bubble once it's already painted. Luckily, it didn't happen. But I did so many drill and then test fit the magnet, drill, test fit the mag, drill, test fit the mag, because I didn't want to go through any of them because there was no going back. I didn't want to damage anything, and we didn't, which was a pretty cool thing. Letting this dry just a little bit. You know what we could do while we're waiting? I know what we can do. We can work on Artemis a little bit more. Lamanus says, that's what Bondic is for filling air bubbles in small gaps. You might be right about that. I've never actually used Bondic. I've only ever heard good things, though. Bear with, I've got to hose out this red. Too Many Spruce says, yeah, I know the feeling. I have a fully magnetized Ghost Arc on my desk waiting to be finished. Let's get rid of the rest of this. Super clean, super clear. Now, let's see what we can't do for old Artemis here, the bird. Yeah, a little Baylor. Jade says, just don't magnetize the Slaanesh chariots. Those things are a headache to put together and are too spindly for magnets. Oh, yeah. That's another thing. You know, your magnet might be too strong for... Why is this not opening? There we go. For the strength of the cast that you're working with. Alright, let's see what we have. I'll make a nice ochre. This is just some Baylor Brown. It might be a little light, but we'll see what we get out of it. We're gonna need more paint. Ren No Ribs says, did I tell you that I am Ren Momo with memes? Oh no. What's happening here, Ren Momo? Let's see what we have here. That'll be, just check a quick dilution on my thumb. It's a bit better. You know what though? This is an airbrush ready paint. I'm gonna suggest that that's actually what our issue is. I didn't think about that when I started putting the thinner in, that this was already thin to paint. Just trying to brighten up the top of the head. We got Inks with a link. Hang on, what we got here? Renerb says, I just have 2 less ribs than other people, and it became a meme in a person's chat. Oh no. We got Marmoni. Thank you so much for that follow. Welcome on in. There you go, Chris, at the spikes wheels, all separated. Ooh, give me just a second. Get a look at that. Currently trying to spray air on a bird and not ruin the white armor of Jason. Oh, I'm so nervous. Oh, I get so nervous. Okay, we ought to be able to blend that in now. Let's get rid of this excess. Ren Momo, I didn't realize you were short a few ribs. What's that about? Something happened? Timmy Spruce says, nice, those magnets fit on flush. Oh yeah. Excuse me. Coming through clean. Alright, let's take that link. Ren Momo just born without him. Ren no ribs. Ren a few ribs short. He has way spindly. Good morning, Ray. How are you now? We got Ray rolling in that tells me it's almost that time. Made some pretty reasonable progress on here today. I'm gonna see if I can't grab just a little bit of that previous brown. What color is this? What color that is? Don't trust it. I'll tell you that. Too many spruce shouting out to Ray. Mike Disney shouting out to Ray. Currently building a fully magnetized knight. Oh, that's cool, Too Many Sprues. That's gonna look legit. Let me see what we have here in terms of dilution. That chocolatiness is still a little too chocolatey. Let's try again. That's much better. Ray getting all the love. Try to use this to separate the feathers a bit. Try to leave a lot of that highlight up top. Again, we're painting with our finger because that's what we do in here. Finger paints. Okay. Okay. Starting to get something out of this. I think Artemis is quite a bit nicer now. Ray says, I got more parts for my PC arriving today. I'm really hoping this is it because I'm tapped out and growing impatient to getting back online. Well, Ray, I didn't realize you're having some PC issues. It's too doggone bright. Oh man, we went a little hard with the brightness. That's okay. Sorry for the angle, everybody. I've just gotta go quick here to tidy this up. Otherwise we'll lose a whole lot more than contrast. There we are. We got Genuine Vision rolling in. Oh yeah, Ray, so today we tidied up quite a bit on this guy. I took a photo of him and posted on Instagram just to show like the progress. And I wasn't happy with several aspects of the model. You know, things tend to turn up when you take a photo of them, especially, you know, for me. And so I wanted to fix a few things. Issues around his fingers, issues around the horse, overpainting in some areas. I would tidy up his face. And today was a way to do that. And I also noticed that his cloak looked very desaturated. And so we brought in the vibrancy, packed that red in real tight, insisted that it turned red. But we also brought in the shadow. So we have this nice dynamic look. Also punched up the contrast up underneath to make the darker areas of the white look darker, while also allowing it to be, in some way it caused him to actually brighten up top. So I'm pretty happy with that. Everybody shout out to Jan, says hi pal. Prepping a chibi, that's pretty legit, Jan. Now when I bring this Ulthen Gray in again, it's kind of crazy how bright white it looks when it's very much not. I'm just going to two-brush blend that out. Fix the overspray. We also were able to darken up the bottom of the backpack, adding a bit more contrast there as well. We started treating Artemis as if he was his own model and, you know, packing in those highlights up top and darkening him down by the bottom. Ray says to Yamanus, it shoots sparks out of the power supply and died. Oh no. You never want that. Let's see if we can't add a little highlight to this glove while we're at it. Just insist on a little bit of ochre in here. Not too much because I don't want it to look like his talons, but at the same time I don't want it to look like the feathers. I'm stuck in a little catch-22 up here. think it's starting to read at a distance. It's a complicated thing, getting it to look correct at one focal length and then also at another. I think we've in some way erased a couple of these tide marks. Man, those were really getting to me. Now let's check this rope real quick. This is the only other thing that's really been, not to say losing sleep over, but things that I was not happy with so far. This rope is one of them. We'll just ever so gently insisting that this thing brightens up without taking away the definition of these recesses. And I think just spin the brush here. There we have it. That's my move. Tommy Spruce says they sound cool. Ray says I got some amazing chibis from Art of Mike Disney to paint up, so really adorable ones like a Stormtrooper, Mickey Mouse, and a Mickey Mouse holding an Uzi. That's what's up. Mike, you're selling chibis? I wouldn't mind painting a chibi. Fix the tops of these skulls down here now that we shaded them a bit. Add that little bit of definition across them. Perhaps we could also some way highlight this beak. Hair's a beast to work with, huh? Border City Ray says to Jan, well, if I can be there today, I will. So Jan says, nah, pal, stress from partnership push, so I figured today's stream would be fun for Mini Ninja Chibi. Jan, what time are you, how many hours till you're going on? When you doing the thing, let me know. If I can, I will participate. One team, one dream on that front. It's so hard in this particular avenue of stream to do it 4.5 hours. Yeah, I'll be at work. I ought to be able to, at the very least, lend a lurk, and I'll be as active as possible. I know that's important as well. Wolf Wraith, good morning. It is 7:34. Let's see who all's online today. Yes, I am, Jan. It is an interesting endeavor here. For everybody that's still with us here, I'm just going to link up my Instagram, my Patreon. The Instagram has links to everything, but we also are starting a YouTube channel. I'll be linking more and more content now that the camera is in. Due massively in part to all of you subscribers. We're going to start making more content there as well as gear comes in over the next few days. Of course, we are working on Khan here. He's going to be a subscriber giveaway for patrons and Twitch subscribers. So any of you that are currently subscribed to me through this month will be in the drawing to win him. He'll be getting wrapped up very soon. So again, for all of you that are supporting me, thank you so much for the love. We're going to try and give some back. We got a lot of things down the pipeline we're trying to do. We hit our following goal, so I ordered the camera, which came in today. The capture card will be in by Friday. Yes. I think this guy's coming along all right. Painting the white really reminded me that, we got to get a better camera because he's so hard to see until he got shaded. Here. We're not happy with this. What's this? This is no good. This needs feathered. But this is going to be me all month. Every time I pick him up, I'm going to tidy something up. There we are. Yes, Oracle of Twilight. A first. Inksta Kitsune. A first. Thank you so much for the con. We will, we'll do his drawing later on in the month for you subs. Kick this out. We are, as YouTube content comes out, patrons will be getting it first to give me feedback, to let me know what they're looking for. I'll be taking their advice going forward as to what we'll be making and in what order. So if you want to get in on that, that's a link you can do so. Otherwise, stay tuned. As far as anything else today goes, I don't really have anything. I think we're just looking for someone to raid into. Raid, do you have any preferences? We got Brush for Hire on. We got that Strange is on, but she's always she's not struggling for viewers. I don't see anybody else online other than maybe Midgard. What do we think? Midgard is on. Do we want to hook up Midgard with some viewership? What are they working on? We got the Scratch Marks in here. Thank you so much for that follow. Making that Corgi Wiggle is such a, like I always say, such a wonderful part of my day. The High Paladin. I don't know. Let me see here. Let's type Mini M-I-N-I. Well, there's all kinds of people on today that I'm not. Well, I'm never on to click on anybody during this time. She's a hoot. Just met her a few weeks ago. The High Paladin. Who's this? Okay. Well, I don't have time to hang out if we go over there. So we're going to have to... Let's see. But it's up to you, sir. You just asked. Let's do Midgard. They're working on a miniature. We'll stick with miniatures. I just hate to raid and dash on someone that I don't know. This is your train conductor speaking. He just asked. That's fair, Ray. This is your conductor speaking. All right, Midgard is a newer streamer in the channel. Just like later on today, in the next 4.5 hours or so, we're going to be hopping in to support Jan as best we can on their push to partnership. Let's go try and show some love to somebody that's trying to work on the other end of things, trying to get above their affiliate status and keep things a little more consistent. So again, thank you everybody that subscribed, the gifted subs, Ray, Gregersman, Clan Wolf. For now, let's go check out Midgard Painter, and as the week goes on, we're going to see more and more things getting upgraded. I'm going to start coming into better focus. Miniatures going to come into better focus. Lighting is going to get more dynamic, and yeah, then it'll be the weekend. So everybody have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning.